What would you do if you discovered the secret of the universe, but knew you would never be able to tell anyone? Would you turn back or keep going? Commander Johnny Varnes didn't hesitate, and that decision would quietly erase his way home. The mission was simple: travel beyond mapped space, observe what no one had ever seen, transmit everything back to Earth, return, if possible. For a long time, nothing changed. Stars drifted in familiar silence. Systems remained stable. Time passed with quiet precision, almost too perfectly, because something was wrong. At first, it was subtle. Coordinates repeating themselves, distances shifting without movement, signals arriving before they were sent. Not random errors, but patterns. And patterns always mean something. Then he saw it. A region ahead that wasn't empty, but undefined. No gravity, no radiation, no measurable boundary at all. Just a presence that didn't belong. Like space had been interrupted. "Control, I have visual confirmation," he said, but his voice echoed back. Before he finished speaking, layered, distorted, impossible. Earth was still there, but something was already breaking the connection. He should have turned back. Every protocol demanded it. Every instinct warned him. But curiosity has always been stronger than fear. And something about that silence felt like an invitation. So he moved forward. There was no impact, no flash, no force, no sensation of crossing. Just a quiet shift, like slipping between thoughts. And in that instant, without realizing it, Johnny Varnes passed through something invisible. A wormhole, without edges. Not something you enter, something you fail to notice. A doorway, hidden inside reality itself. And by the time he understood it, it was already behind him. The stars disappeared. Not slowly, but completely. Replaced by something vast, structured, impossible. At first, his mind refused to process it, because what he was seeing should not exist. Clusters of galaxies stretched across infinity, but they weren't scattered randomly. They were connected, linked by faint luminous threads, repeating the same shape, again and again. What am I looking at? He zoomed in, filaments branching outward, splitting, reconnecting, signals pulsing through them in waves, not chaos, not coincidence. Something organized, something alive. A strange thought crept into his mind, uninvited, uncomfortable. What if this isn't space at all? What if distance is just scale? And what he's seeing is something much smaller or much larger than it should be. He pulled back further than any human perspective had ever gone, until the entire structure came into view. And in that moment, his breathing stopped, because the pattern wasn't abstract anymore. It was unmistakable. A central mass, branching outward, signals moving across it like impulses, firing, responding, connecting, like a neuron. The universe was behaving like a mind. But here's the question he couldn't answer. If this is a neuron, then what is it part of? And more importantly, what happens if something inside it becomes aware? Johnny stared deeper into the structure, and for a brief moment, he felt something impossible. Not fear, not awe, but recognition. As if this place had been waiting for him to see it. And if you've made it this far, consider this carefully. What would you do if you were the first human to realize that the universe might not be what it seems? Because Johnny was about to go further, and what he would find next was not meant to be seen. If the universe is a neuron, then what happens when you move deeper into it? Do you find emptiness or something thinking back? Johnny Varnes was about to find out, and there would be no turning back now. At first, the structure remained stable. The luminous pathways continued pulsing. Signals traveled across vast distances with precision. But something had changed, because now he was inside it, and something inside it had noticed. A distortion appeared ahead, faint at first, almost invisible. But unlike the silent geometry around it, this one felt unstable, like a wound in the structure itself. Johnny leaned closer. What is that? It didn't behave like anything he had seen before. Not like the wormhole behind him, not like space, or matter, or energy. It absorbed the pattern around it, as if erasing thought itself. A black anomaly, denser than darkness, edges flickering in and out of existence. Light didn't bend around it. It simply ceased, and somehow he was moving toward it. No thrust, no gravity, just inevitability, like being pulled by something that didn't exist in physical space, but in something deeper. Control. If this reaches you. Static answered him. I don't think I'm alone out here. The structure pulsed violently now. Signals intensified across its branching arms. Like a system reacting, like something becoming aware of intrusion, of him. And then, the void expanded. Without warning, it was everywhere. The ship crossed the threshold instantly. No transition, no resistance, just total immersion in absolute blackness. Systems failed at once. Lights vanished. The hull began to tear, not crushed, but undone, as if reality itself rejected its form. Johnny didn't hesitate. He ejected. The cockpit exploded away from the collapsing ship. His suit sealed under pressure, and for a single moment, just one, he floated, alone. No stars, no sound, no direction, only a presence surrounding him, watching. His oxygen warning screamed, vision blurring at the edges, thoughts slowing, fading, and then he saw them. Eyes, not shapes, not illusions. Something real, something ancient, looking directly at him. And in that instant, Johnny understood, because those eyes were his own, not as he was, but as something beyond him, something vast, something that included him and everything else. And suddenly, he could see it all, the structure, the patterns, the connections, not galaxies, but signals, not space, but thought, a single mind. The universe was not a place, it was awareness. And everything, every star, every life, every moment existed inside it. Inside the mind of something infinite, a creator, not distant, not separate, but thinking everything into existence. Johnny tried to speak, and somehow his communicator responded, recording, transmitting, a signal escaping the collapse. If anyone hears this, his voice trembled. The first anomaly, it was a passage. Static surged violently. This isn't space. Darkness closed in completely. We're inside. Something that's thinking us. His final breath faltered, and I think it's aware. Somehow the signal survived, escaping the black void, crossing impossible distances, moving through something beyond space. And maybe, just maybe, it's still traveling towards someone like you. So before it arrives, ask yourself one question. If you heard the truth, would you even believe it? Or would you ignore it? Like most people do. Because if this story made you question reality, then perhaps you're already closer than you think. And some mysteries only reveal themselves to those willing to keep listening.